we're doing. Yeah, the connection. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, good evening, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if we're live. Oh, great. Yeah, I am in Switzerland, actually. I'm in Zurich, and I'll tell you what I'm doing here in a minute. Just say hello to everyone. Urban Sombreros here. Hugo First is here. Greg Rowland, Spock 2024. We got loads of people. Pablo Pina, Duder Scooter, Moonraker, Manic Miner. Oh, you can hear me well? Good, good. So Cornwall, Ricois from Montreal or Montreal. Billy is not here. Yeah, I'm in Zurich. Well, I arrived this afternoon, and I'm here for 2 days. I'm here to attend the Precious Metals Summit mining conference because I want to learn more about the mining space, especially the exploring space. I'm going to meet loads of CEOs and directors of the companies. I've got a lot of meetings tomorrow and Tuesday. And yeah, I am in Zurich, XRP. And the title of the live stream tonight is Central Bankers Bank Retreating from Paper Gold. We're going to talk about that. I'm a little earlier as usual. We'll wait till the top of the hour to go into that. So I'm going to share here with you where I am. And shout out to Jim Lewis of Wall Street Silver. He told me about this Precious Metals Summit conference. So this is where I am in Zurich. And and I want to learn more about the mining space and see if we can collaborate as well with the mining companies, because I think a lot of investors, be they retail or even bigger investors, don't know much about the mining space. And I think that's what I want to do. Just like I've been trying to tell people a bit about economics over the last 6 years. And I want to learn as well, because I think there's a lot of opportunity. Of course, it's not guaranteed. Everything in life has a risk, of course, as we've seen with cryptocurrencies. I've told people with cryptocurrencies over the years, yes, go ahead and put your money into it, but be aware that it's very risky and that you shouldn't put so much in that it will affect your financial status. I certainly didn't tell people to mortgage everything they have to put it into cryptocurrency, and I won't do the same for this. But so there we go. The Precious Metals Summit Zurich, premier Swiss-based independent investment conference focused on explorers, developers, and emerging producers of gold, silver, platinum group metals. So yeah, I'm going to be here for a couple of days. I will be doing videos. Hopefully, they might not be coming out at the normal time because actually I've got 22 meetings over the next 2 days. So I'll be very busy. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm actually interviewing someone from Switzerland. He's not here, but some of you have asked me to interview Claudio Grass. He's in Zug. I'm in Zurich. Zurich is not that far from here, but he accepted. So I'm interviewing him tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully I'll post it late tomorrow or tomorrow, Tuesday morning. Rosanna Schomer from Germany, Duder Scooter, the Fed opened up an underground tunnel to Credit Suisse, 11 billion. Well, it's not only Credit Suisse, the Swiss National Bank is a hybrid. It's a private and a public central bank. And they're losing a lot of money, the Swiss National Bank, because they bought a lot of FANG stocks. And some of it could go to Credit Suisse, I agree. Yeah, Dylan Roberts, Billy is at home polishing the silver. That's right, Billy the silver bug. A gold mine is a hole with a liar. Well, I've heard that, but and as I said, there's a lot of pitfalls in junior and exploration investment. But I think my view on the fundamentals hasn't changed for precious metals and commodities. And I think there will be a lot of opportunity. And I think it's interesting for people to learn about precious metals mining, because I think, yeah, it would be good to get people on to explain it. Steve Woitas, Ronnie Stofferly, will he be there? I don't know. I don't know him. I've heard of him, of course. I like his In Gold We Trust annual report. Uncle Robbie, yeah, you guys, I need to say you guys made this possible, because with the interest in the channel, I've got 73,000 subscribers. It generates the ad revenues. A lot of you use my affiliates for precious metals, and I couldn't be here without you guys, to pay for the trip, to stay in the hotel and everything. Yeah, so this is not just for me, but for you guys too. Gianfranco Bergagna, can you ask Rafi if he did get some money from the cryptocurrency scam FTX? Yeah, Sam Bankman Fried, not it's pronounced Freed, but I think he's fried, that guy. Yeah, I think there's a can of worms to do with FTX. It's political. It's someone sent me a message today. They think even Gary Gensler from the SEC could be involved. I mean, that would be huge. Do you know if New York Fed overnight reverse repo operation interest return to counterparties analyzed, or just the rate is an annual rate, but they do it overnight, so you got to divide it by like 365 or something like that. Dave Collum, I haven't heard of him, Matt, but I'll have a look. Yeah, so I thought it would be good to come to Zurich. FTX is making Kevin O'Leary look like a fool. A lot of people are looking like fools, and as it pertains to FTX. It's a little bit like Nick Leeson back in the mid-90s. He made a lot of, he made Barings Bank, which was, one of the most traditional British merchant banks, the bank that helped finance the Louisiana Purchase for the United States. Nick Leeson made them look like fools. So this happens once in a while. Michael Biggins, I met and shook hands with Jason Cousins of Glint last Tuesday. Oh, that's good. Was that when he was in the US, or was it in London? Because he was in the US recently. No, nice to see you. Bitcoin currently 16,500. I saw that. I think you could even argue that the blockchain concept in Bitcoin is a good concept, but unfortunately, the whole crypto space has been overtaken by greed. I think even Warren Buffett talked about that. There's a lot of shysters, if you want to use that word, in the crypto space, and you got to be careful, even in in the mining space, you got to be careful. And that's why I came here to meet actually these mining CEOs. And they've sent the people who organized this conference, they've sent me a list of all the companies. I sent them messages, and a lot of them said, yes, we want to meet you. We hopefully collaborate. We'll have to see. Yeah, greed is always, I'm not saying people shouldn't look after their own interests, but yeah, when greed takes over, it's not good. Silver Task, thank you for being moderator. Moderator, hi to you. Tom Brady, yeah, I saw that commercial with his wife, right? She's a Brazilian model, Gisele Bündchen, and I think they're getting divorced. So that's something different, though. Cozy Fantuzzi, hello. Sam Bankrupt Fried. Susan P. Faust. Yeah, there's a lot of trillions missing, and we've I've known this for years from the research by not Catherine Austin Fitts, but the professor from Michigan State University. I forgot his name now, but yeah, it's a den of vipers, Washington, D.C., and so is the London and all the major Western capitals. And that's another reason why I'm comfortable with holding precious metals. Of course, mining is something different. Mining is more speculative, but I think there's opportunity. And I think everyone is, to some extent, a speculator, because it just means trying to look ahead. The thing is not to abuse that. BR Williams still doesn't believe diesel shortages. Yeah, I mean, I did a video warning about that. I allegedly, Dan has been talking about that. He was the first guy I heard it from. Even if there isn't a shortage, though, the prices could impact other sectors of the economy, rising prices. In medieval Spain, bankrupt bankers were disgraced. Yeah, I saw that. And then they also chopped their heads off. I think someone put that on Twitter the other day. I saw it. Was it you? Silver UFO says, thank you for having a positive impact on my life. Wow. I feel humbled that you say that, actually. And I'm just trying to be myself and, hopefully impart a little bit of my experience to people. Okay, we got just a minute to go. Seems like high price of diesel will cause demand destruction and higher prices as well. The thing is, we're getting demand destruction, let's say in the housing real estate market, and things, basic necessities are still going up, rents are still going up, mortgage rates are going up, but maybe housing prices will go down, but people won't be able to afford it, which is ironic. I think the only people that will be able to afford, if house prices really correct, are people who've been saving and maybe stacking as well. Son of Silver Stacker, do you think that we will see another dip for precious metals? I assume you mean precious, not previous metals. Well, we're going to talk about that today because I've got some charts of gold and silver, because last week was a very interesting week. Yeah, Scott 49140, that's what I wanted to talk about today. So let's start now. So it's actually 10 o'clock here in Zurich, which is fairly late, but it's 9 o'clock London time. So I'm still in London time. There's no jet lag actually for an hour, is there? So this is the article that I read, and I have to thank, of course, GATA for that. So BIS nearly out of its gold swap business. And I'm going to put that link in this. I'm going to put that link in the chat here for you guys. And later on, I'm going to put it in the description of the recorded live stream. Oh, here, I done. Hold on. I'm going to share it again. Sorry, I made a mistake here. Let's do that again. Share. Okay. So here we go. So basically, what the article says is that first of all, the BIS is very secretive. You know, they have to comb through these numbers. Robert Lamborn, he works with GATA. This is in GoldSeek, though, this article. And this is what is really interesting here. You know, this is how much swaps. They started doing these swaps with commercial banks, not central banks. Back in 2010, 2016, they didn't do any, but you can see that they've been doing quite a bit. And now this year, it's dropped to 7 tons. So it's really difficult to say what's going on. Robert Lamborn, he mentioned Basel III, you know, the fact that allocated gold can be used to, you know, to give the banks equity capital as a tier 1 asset. But he doesn't think it's that. He thinks what's happening is that when the bullion banks, for example, have to go short, they lease the gold from the central banks. Central banks lease it to the bullion banks, and the thing is, in order to for the central banks to hide the fact that they lease to the bullion banks, what they do is the bullion banks will close their leases through the BIS, and the BIS will do the other side of the trade with the central banks. So the fact that they're not doing swaps with commercial banks anymore, he tends to think that you know, the gold leasing scheme could be, you know, coming to an end. The paper gold game, which is basically orchestrated by COMEX and the LBMA. So I thought that was quite interesting. And as I said, we can't really know exactly because the gold market is so opaque. You know, the central bankers are they're not transparent at all. So there you go. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That's the title of the live stream. We're going to go over some gold and silver charts in a minute. I've got a super chat. Thank you, Dissident Agnostic. MicroStrategies. Michael Saylor recently claimed that mining productivity would cause gold to be worth 12% of its current value in the future. Is he correct? I guess he's saying that mining is going to become so cheap that gold will come down. Well, maybe so, but you know, if you look at, I used to watch a lot Gold Rush. It was on the History Channel, I think, and if you look at the what it takes to find gold and dig and stuff, I can't see how it can become even more productive, but I don't know. I have to look into if he's written something, but And I don't think there, according to the US Geological Survey, there hasn't been a major gold find in over 20 years. And it's very hard. It's very hard and expensive. I know that Bix Weir thinks there's, I don't know, loads of gold under the Grand Canyon, but I'm not too sure about that. St. Louis says, cool shirt, Mario. Actually, I'm wearing my pajama bottoms and I want to wear my t-shirt, but it's a bit, I use it to sleep. It's a bit wrinkled. So this is like probably a shirt that I'll probably wear tomorrow and Tuesday. It's kind of like one of my old work shirts. When I used to wear a suit, I did bring my suit. How popular are the Silver Eagles in the UK? Yeah, the Silver Eagles, you can get them here. I have quite a few Silver Eagles. I'm not sure. I haven't, recently I've been buying Britannias, but the premiums are still fairly high here, 20, 30%. And you've got the VAT as well. Mario watch Alex the Duran video. He found good stuff on FTX. Well, I did a lot. If you go onto my YouTube channel, like the channel itself, into the community, what's it called? Community center, or I forgot how you call it. I did an interview with, yeah, he interviewed me, Nobody Special Finance. And, I'd never heard of FTX until it collapsed. I'd never heard of that guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, before a few days ago. But I looked into it, and yeah, I smell a rat. I smell a rat. So let me get you guys. Where is it? So I'll put it on the over here. Yeah. So this was me with Nobody Special Finance. We're talking about FTX, and they knew more about it than I did. They follow more crypto. But yeah, I did quite a bit of research, and I found it really, yeah, there's something wrong with it. The fact that a 30-year-old donated $40 million to the Democratic Party. He's the second biggest donor after George Soros. His aunt is part of the World Economic Forum. He's, yeah, it's strange. Turnbull, no, it's not a Turnbull, Orlando. Turnbull is really expensive. I think it's Turwit. I mean, it's probably, yeah. I think Turnbull is a lot more expensive. Thank you for your super chat. Joker Alpha from the Pacific Northwest. Nice to see you guys. Okay, let's, I drew this chart that I'm gonna bring up here on the screen because some people asked me, someone asked me about gold, what I think it's gonna do, and if we're gonna see another correction. So if you look at this here, a lot of people, especially the people in the bear camp who've been saying, oh, gold is going to, 1,000 or 900. They were comparing, this top here to the top in 2011, 2013, and they thought we're going to do this. And because, we made a double top here, we broke the midpoint of the double top, and usually in the double top, if you measure from the midpoint to the top, once we break the midpoint, the market should drop the same amount, the same distance. So it could have, it should have dropped to 1,200. But the fact that we've, especially last week, we've traded right back above that breakout is very significant. So am I saying we're going to go make all-time highs now? No, but I think unless we break back below this level here, which is around 1670, 1680, gold should be quite positive in my opinion. Again, we should hold gold because of its intrinsic, value, of its beauty, the fact that it's held its purchasing power for thousands of years, the fact that you can bury it in the ground and someone can, find it 1,000 years hence, and it's still good, and that's why. But for those who still want to follow this, and I like following it as well, but and the other chart I wanted to show you is more of a long-term chart, because recently some people have been asking me about Goldman Sachs, because Goldman Sachs has come out and said that gold is going to go to 2180, they think. And, you have to realize that Goldman Sachs is part of the bullion bank, mafia. Yeah, they are mafia, so I can't say that. And they're always underestimating gold and silver. So if we go to 2180 would be here. Yeah, which is nice. It would be a new high. But if you look at gold here, it's since the early 70s. We had the bull market from 2001 to 2011. We haven't really done much since then. So there's a lot of room on the upside, I would say. I'm not giving price targets or anything, but I just wanted to show you that, to give you some perspective on where we are right now. So there you go. So I'll come back and look at your questions now, and then we're going to look at some silver charts as well. Carry concealed, protect your gold. Scott 49,140 just bought a 1/4 ounce gold Britannia. Yeah, well, it's actually 0.2354. If you want to be, honest weights, it's just under a 1/4 of an ounce. And did you know that U.S. fighter pilots in the Air Force, they take sovereigns with them? And why is that? Well, because the sovereigns are known the world over, in the Middle East, in Southeast Asia. So yeah, if they crash in enemy territory, dollar bills are no good, but gold sovereigns are. Joker Alpha, gold and silver manipulation continues. How can the manipulation be broken? Well, through the physical market, when people need to get out of paper. People need to buy real gold and silver, because the only way they can manipulate is if investors buy unallocated silver, gold and silver, when they don't, they just want to bet on the price. But I think we're near there, and that's what we're talking about earlier today when we started the live stream at the top of the hour. The fact that I don't know if you're here listening, but I'll bring it up again. It looks like the bank for the central bankers, the BIS, they're getting out of the paper business. You see, BIS is nearly out of its gold swap business. And it's interesting that they started the gold swap around 2010, 2011, when gold was making all-time highs, probably because they didn't want gold to go any further. But now, if you look here, this is the beginning of 2022. They had 501 tons of swaps. Now they're down to 7. So almost no paper gold. And I think the silver as well, the silver squeeze movement started February last year. And I think that has had a major impact. And we're seeing registered silver inventories on COMEX drop quite a bit. and gold as well. So that's the only way to beat it. Back in the 60s, we had the London Gold Pool, which is actually a covert market manipulation club. Major central banks in North America and Western Europe and Japan, they got together and they kept the price of gold capped at $35 because the US was printing too much dollars, and they had to keep that price for the Bretton Woods Agreement. Eventually, though, not even they could keep the game going. And why? Well, because the countries participating in it, they saw, the US is inflating too much. We want our gold. And I think that's happening already with the Eastern and Global South central banks, and it's not going to stop. Yes, silver task. Let's hope it's the end of paper gold. I think I read something to the effect that the Shanghai Gold Exchange, like 80% or 77% of their trades is real gold changing hands. What we have on COMEX and LBMA is not real gold or silver most of the time. Delivery is a small part of it. And we saw that Rafi Faber tried earlier this year with a group of investors to take delivery of one silver contract, which is 5,000 1-ounce bars. They got the warrant, but they could never get the silver bars. They make it difficult. So tomorrow, I think most of you know that I'm here in Zurich. I've told you before when I started the live stream. So I'm here for Precious Metals Summit mining conference, mostly like explorers, small, junior miners. And I wanted to meet the CEOs. I've got one-on-one meetings. Tomorrow I've got 10 meetings. Tuesday I got 12. So I'll be very busy, but tomorrow morning I'm going to get up really early, have breakfast, and make a quick video. And just to let you guys know, over the next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I will try to make one video every day, but they might not come out at the usual 10 o'clock a.m. London time. They could be later. So just to let you know. I was reading, someone mentioned HMRC, St. Louis 9. That's the version of the Inland Revenue in the UK, His Majesty Revenues and Custom, Revenue and Custom. I was reading that the Land Registry now, the people working at, they call it HMLR, they're taking as many as 60 days holiday. So prior to 2020, if you wanted to register, some land or a home or a house, it used to take about 50 days. Now it's taking like 14 months. So it looks like the whole mechanism of the state also is kind of breaking down in the UK. It's not just the money and the inflation. It's just, it's a sign of the times. Daryl Knight, the Jones Act protects U.S. seamen. Oh, well, I remember Peter Schiff spoke about the Jones Act. What the Jones Act has done, though, it's basically destroyed the U.S. merchant marine. So, and let's say a ship from Europe comes and brings, whatever from Europe, and they deliver it at the port, Boston or New York, and then they're empty there. But with the Jones Act, that ship in Boston, they can't get cargo from Boston and take it down to Florida, for example. So yeah, the merchant marine, and that's why everything is done now through trucking and through the trains. So the US doesn't have very good maritime shipping, from port to port. Low blood pressure, any golf while you're in Zurich? No, I've got no time for golf. I've got my schedule here for tomorrow. My first meeting is at 8:30. And then I have a little break between 11 and 12. And then the last meeting is at 4:30 to 5 o'clock. So no time for golf. I've played here in Zurich quite a few times. When I lived in Switzerland, I used to come every summer. There's the amateur golf tournament. It's called the Zurich Championships. And it's really nice because you play 3 different courses, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I really enjoyed that. I played 1 year, I played quite well. I came 5th, I think. I was 2nd after 2 days, and I didn't have a very good 3rd round. Joker Alpha, continue to buy precious metal and get out of debt and break the bankers. Yeah, I mean, the only way to defeat the bankers, I don't expect the general public to try to, do it, but be your own central bank, because if you're dependent on the bankers, let's say you run a small business and you need a line of credit and you borrow, they can pull the plug anytime. That's why I think it's important to be your own bank. I don't know, not everyone can do that, but you've got to find a way to be as independent as possible. CERN lab is complete. Watch silver explode. CERN, that's on the other side of Switzerland. That's between Geneva and France. Mario, who is minding Billy Bullion? No, he's with my wife at home. Yeah, Billy Bullion. He's polishing his silver, according to Dilwyn Roberts. Mr. B, greetings to you. Billy didn't travel. BP, what is more reliable indicator to measure the money supply to determine true gold and silver price? M2 or M3? I think M2. M3 is more, M2 is the best one, because M1, which is cash and coins in circulation, demand deposits, and then you got savings accounts, which are M2, and certificates of deposit. I think M2 is the best. But some people also think that back in 1980, when the dollar was collapsing, and it was collapsing because the US Treasury issued what was called Carter bonds, President Carter. So the US Treasury had to borrow in Deutschmarks and Swiss francs. But what was I saying? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So the only way for the Federal Reserve to save the dollar was to revalue the price of gold. The market did it, of course. So gold went from like around 400 in the beginning of 79 to almost 900 by 1980. And when he went to I think it was about 880, the balance sheet of the Fed was 120 or 130% backed by gold. And I think, I'm not sure what the number is right now, but I recommend Myrmikan Capital, Dan Oliver, who talks about this. I'm going to type it here. And I've had him on a couple of years ago. He's got research for free if you go on myrmikan.com. Billy is worth his weight in gold. He is. He's a good boy. Yeah, Billy has got his AK-47. Scoobyism, are you in for some private placement? No, I just, Jim Lewis from Wall Street Silver, he told me he was coming to this conference, and he said, you should come to meet CEOs, and he's not coming anymore. I did an interview with him a couple of weeks ago, and he said he was too tired. But what I did is I registered with them, and I sent messages to all the companies coming here, or the ones that I thought were interesting. And I have one-on-one meetings tomorrow and Tuesday, because I want to learn more about what's going on. And I think we can collaborate with these mining executives as well. I was thinking of something like doing a natural resource hour, or something like a program on the weekend, where I would maybe talk to a CEO and he would explain what's going on and the nature of the business. That's what I'm thinking. I don't want to do a video every day. So maybe have something called a weekend resource hour, or something like that, or something like products of the earth, because precious metals are product of the earth. We'll have to see. Crypto FETT, thank you for your super chat. Do you see silver reaching 100 before 2026? I don't want to make a forecast about that. I think it all depends on the strength of the dollar. If the dollar collapses, yes, silver could go, as I've said, you got to hold gold and silver, not to make paper dollars. So the 100 the number 100 there is paper, and I think that's what it's all about. And someone might ask, well, when do you get rid of it? Well, when you think that something else that you want is a bargain in terms of gold and silver. So that's how I'd look at it, and yeah. I thought, back in February 2021, when silver hit 30, a lot of people were very excited. They said, oh, it's going to go through now. And I actually said, I'm not too sure. You got to be careful, because these guys are not going to let it happen. I didn't think they would keep it suppressed for so long, but so yeah, it's I like to think it would be the dollar will have dropped by a lot more versus silver by 2026, and I think that's how we got to think of it: the dollar dropping, not gold and silver rising. BP, Mario, what is your outlook on living in Switzerland when Europe collapses? Would it be a safe place? Actually, my wife and I have been talking, because we have more family in Switzerland than in the UK. So, and we're not getting younger. So we're thinking maybe we need to move to Switzerland. The problem is Switzerland is quite expensive, but it's a nice place. I think, the Swiss franc isn't perfect, because the Swiss National Bank is debauched the Swiss franc as well by buying FANG stocks and selling half its gold, but it's still a nice place. So yeah, I think Switzerland is still kind of a safe haven, not as good as it used to be. But I'll tell you a story. This afternoon, I arrived from the airport. So from the airport, I took a train to the middle of Zurich, and to the main station. And then from there, I took a taxi to the hotel. It wasn't that far. And my room wasn't ready. So I left my luggage, I checked in, and I walked to Bahnhofstrasse, which is like the major, like all the expensive shops and banks. And there was like a cafe open there. They serve food. And I walked in, and it was really crowded, but there's a seat next, and this older gentleman is sitting there, and I sat next to him, and he was really nice. And he started talking to me. He was Swiss, but he spoke really good English. And he's been living in England for over 50 years, but he comes back and forth. And I said, what country do you prefer? And he said, England. And I said, why? He said, well, because it's beautiful. It's got the history. It's got the old buildings. So there you go. There's a Swiss guy, 80-year-old gentleman who could be here, but he prefers to be in the south of England. So, you know, the grass is always greener, as they say. And actually, we started talking a lot. He gave me his business card. He's an art dealer. He's been an art dealer for all his life. And I gave him my card. I've had some cards made because I'm going to be meeting a lot of people. And we had a long chat, and he said, how long you're here for? I said, till Wednesday. I said, and he said, maybe we can go out for dinner. So it was really nice to meet him. I think, yeah, his name was Reinhard. Where am I staying? No, I'm staying in the hotel near the conference. So yeah, it's kind of on the like when you come from the airport, it's on the other side of the river. Charlie Street, what do you think about Gary Gensler? Well, he's an ex-Goldman Sachs guy, so I don't trust him. He's a Democrat. I think he was appointed by Obama or something. I'm not sure. And one of my friends who, well, he's in the UK right now, but he's been living in the Bahamas for over 10 years, and he knows a lot of what goes on there. And he said, you know, this Sam Bankman-Fried, I won't say the word that he used for him because he knows of him, but he sent me a message and he said, Gary Gensler, you know, there's something fishy between FTC and Gary Gensler, even though he's the head of the SEC. And we know that, yeah, I think, you know, money laundering comes to mind. And yeah, but I don't trust too many people from Goldman Sachs. You know, you had John Corzine. He was CEO of Goldman Sachs many years ago. Then he became the governor of New Jersey. You know, they always seem to gravitate towards the Democratic Party. And then he, after he left, you know, the governorship, left politics, he went and joined MF Global as a CEO. And I worked for MF Global for 7 years until 2010. And then a few months later, he joined, he took over, you know, he took over as CEO. I was very surprised. And then a few months later, MF Global basically collapsed because he did the same thing. John Corzine did the same thing that this guy, SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, did. He used customers' money to speculate. So MF Global was a really good firm. You know, it was like independent brokers working together. And yeah, we didn't trade. We just we bought and sold for clients and we made a commission. But Corzine came and started using clients' funds, and nothing happened to him, of course, because he's a made man. He was governor, ex-Goldman Sachs, and you kind of wonder if anything will happen to this young guy, SBF, because he donated 40 million to the Democratic Party. Hank Paulson as well. Robert Rubin, he was CEO of Goldman Sachs before they became public, and he became US Treasury Secretary under Clinton. And the deputy was Larry Summers. And Gada has spoken about that, how Larry Summers was the one with Robert Rubin, who started all the gold leasing program to keep gold down. It was the time in the mid-90s where they kept going, we want a strong dollar. But what they're doing was they're leasing gold and keeping the gold price down. And then Robert Rubin got a very good job with Citibank just because they were able to repeal Glass-Steagall. And yeah, I think he made over 100 million just for sitting in the board, in his office at Citibank. And then Citibank collapsed, and he still got his money in 08. Whew. Have a sip of my water. So I'm glad the live stream is running okay, because you never know the Wi-Fi in hotels if they're any good, but it looks like it's pretty good here. BP, I disagree that Basel III is voluntary. The way they get you is by getting the rating agencies in and downgrading the credit ratings. The thing about Basel III, I was reading an article last week that the EU the EU wants to delay Basel III for the EU banks, and the ECB isn't happy about that. So, and I think, Basel III was started back in, I think, 2010 or 13. And it doesn't happen overnight. They always have deadlines. And okay, let's bring some silver charts because I did the gold already. So one thing that I thought was interesting on Friday, when I turned off my computer and stopped looking at the markets, gold was like 1765. And then later on, I turned I went back onto my computer and it had closed at 71, which is really unusual. It popped up at the end of the day on Friday. Usually it pops, it sinks at the end of the day. But yeah, this is the chart of silver I wanted to show you. One of them. So this level here, I thought was really important that we get back above, because, when we did this back in 2020, yeah, it was in the break of this level. It was quite important. And then we've had this consolidation here, and it held above that level up until recently, of course, and we broke below it, but now we've gone back above it. So I think that's quite significant. And I'll bring you a longer term chart of silver. This is I think this is one that some people have covered a lot. I don't know if you guys know. I'm sure some of you know about the teacup and handle formation in silver. See that's the cup, the teacup there. That's the handle, and usually it's very bullish, but the handle has been, it's taken a long time for it to evolve. But you see that level I showed you on the previous chart was this here. And then you go to the high in 2008. And I remember that high, it was around the same level. So yeah, I think it's fairly significant. And it's around just above 21. So if we can hold above 21, we could see silver to continue to go higher, or the dollar to go lower, if you want to look at it like that. Joker Alpha, FTX, I owe you. Crypto is like fiat, I owe you nothing. That's right. I used to cover crypto more when I started my channel. And I used to tell people, yes, do your due diligence, read about it. read the white paper of Bitcoin. You know, you can read it. It's all online, and the white paper for all the coins. And if you are going to put some money into it, be aware that you can lose it all. And I always said that. And but I think it's become so speculative. People, they just buy coins because they like the name, you know, Dogecoin or whatever, Shiba Inu, and it's got no utility whatsoever. I mean, I have an exposure to cryptos because I post my videos on Steemit.com and on Hide.com and also DTube. So I earn a little bit of those tokens, not much, but you know, at least it has a utility because a lot of people watch those videos there. But I don't think it will grow. You know, that there's just not, and I think unfortunately, a lot of people that have been burnt with this FTX, and there are other exchanges that have collapsed. You had that Luna earlier this year. A lot of people, they didn't know what they're getting into. They didn't do their research of what cryptos were, you know, the white papers, and now they think it's all risky. And I think it's going to be tough for them, for the crypto to recover people's confidence in it. Yeah, Shiny Ape, I agree with you. It's about decentralization, but then, you know, when the people get involved, you know, speculate and use these exchanges, yeah, in an ideal world, you wouldn't have really too many. You do have exchanges, but you know, when you want to switch one coin to the other, but a lot of these exchanges have become like Wall Street casinos, you know, with derivatives and everything. When they created the crypto Bitcoin futures in 2017 or 18, I didn't think that was a good thing. And unfortunately, I think Wall Street has kind of captured the crypto market, and that's always dangerous. Wall Street. When the cup and handle breaks, you know, when we break the top of the teacup, it's supposed to go the same distance from the bottom of the teacup to the top of the teacup upwards. The thing is, the handle in silver has been forming for quite a few years, but the whole teacup is a really long one. It's like a 42-year teacup. Carlos, thank you for your super chat. Will stablecoins be impacted by FT collapse? Well, I think recently in the last few days, we saw that, what's it called? Tether. Tether broke the buck. I think it got down to like, I don't know, 98 handle, which is bad. And Tether, I mean, there's been rumors, and not rumors, but like it's a fact that Tether was supposed to have, for every tether they're supposed to have $1, but you know, the assets they hold to back Tether are like a commercial paper. It's really only back like 3 to 4% real dollars. So Tether is very leveraged. I think that could be the next big thing. You know, a Tether, it's a house of cards, I think. So I wouldn't trust the stable coins either. Yeah, and maybe FTX could be the camel, you know, the straw that breaks the camel's back of stable coins. Who knows? Joe Corral, for the idea of gold and silver to be a store of work due to mining makes bartering for other products or services sensible. Well, I guess the price of gold and silver embeds that, the price of mining. But I think gold is much more than just, the fact that it's been mined. Of course, it's quite abundant over, because all the gold that's ever been mined, most of it is still still around, but it's really hard to find and it's precious. The same thing for silver. Silver is consumed. But yeah, the fact that it's hard to mine, that gives it value. But I think also the qualities, the of gold and silver, the fact that gold, you can work that metal, it's used for many things, and people, it's just in human beings' DNA to like gold. So it's more than that, I would say. With Bitcoin, it's supposed to be just, the fact that it's, limited to 21 million, and that it's mined, and you use energy. But apart from that, you can't really hold a Bitcoin. It's not precious or anything. It doesn't have, it doesn't have any qualities. It's like a computer program, isn't it? It's like that's what it is. Well, we still got about just over 10 minutes. Honig, you're welcome, and a nice week for you too. Platinum, Spooky Spoon. Yeah, I think platinum will do well as well. I don't have any platinum. It is a precious metal. It's also industrial. But I believe, we're going into a world where real things, despite the fact that they want to, the powers that be talk about, the Great Reset, the fourth industrial revolution, that they're going to insert, we're going to be inserted with things, and we're going to become like robots and digital world. I think people are missing it's not, we're not going to go completely give up on digital and technology, but I think we've overlooked real things, and that's what I see forward. That's why I'm here in Zurich, at this precious metals mining conference, because I believe there's a lot of room for commodities relative to paper and technology. I think the whole precious metal sector makes up 0.5% of all investable assets. Can you imagine if it just goes up to 4%? That's an 8-fold increase for precious metals. So I think there's a lot of potential. Rumpelstiltskin, I think I've heard of Jeff Snyder, but I think I used to read some of the stuff years ago, but recently I haven't. They go on a lot about the euro dollars, these guys. The thing is, the euro dollar is basically dollars traded outside the United States, because in the 60s, a lot of dollars through the Marshall Plan were lent out to Europe through US banks in London, and other places in Europe. They call that the euro dollar. But we also have euro yen, yen that's lent outside Japan. And ultimately, because I think their argument is that there's a lot more, all these euro dollars out there, that it's not, accounted for, but it is, because it's ultimately lent out via American banks abroad. And the same thing for euro yen is lent out via Japanese banks to foreign corporations. So, you could have a British company issue euro yen bonds, or you could have, Mercedes-Benz Benz issue Eurodollar bonds. They borrow dollars from US banks abroad. So, and the US banks, ultimately, they get, their credit from the Federal Reserve. So that's why, yeah, they make a big deal out of this Eurodollar thing, and I don't think it is. So that's what I think about it. Joker Alpha, where there is a fiat currency collapse, when there is a fiat currency, how much silver would you trade for a loaf of bread? I guess we have to go back, if you're in the States, go back to pre-1964 and see what you could buy for, how much bread was, because let's say, I don't know how much it was, 10 cents. Then it would be a dime, a silver dime, or it might be even, you could get even more bread for a dime, because you'd have the complete collapse of the fiat currency in the 50s. The system was still pretty stable. So, but I think you could get quite a bit of bread for a dime, silver dime, pre-1965. Hi, Richard Martin, nice to see you. Aaron Sterling, I recently purchased a 5,000 freeze dryer, 2 bags, sealer. Central banks usually buy from national miners. Yeah, I think the Chinese and the Russians do that as well. Hi, Chill, says Ciao Mario. The charter was the S&P 500, not silver. No, it's silver. I'll show it to you again. Oh, you want to see the chart of S&P 500? No, I had silver charts. The teaspoon here. Yeah, that's silver here, silver. Aaron, yeah, no, I think it's good, Aaron, to have things that you need. Monaco BP, if there are 4 to 500 ounces of paper, silver for one physical, the paper market collapse, does that mean it would go up? It's always difficult to say how far it would go, but it would, yeah, it's difficult to say, but it would, it's like nickel, earlier this year, what the sky would be, I don't know where it would go, but it would be worth a lot more. I guess we'll find out the true value of silver when that happens. Endurorama, what will happen to the paper market when central banking finish winding down their positions? I spoke earlier about the BIS unwinding their paper positions, and we don't know who they're doing that for. Suppose it could be, they deal mostly for their clients or central banks. So who knows? Who knows what will happen? I'm not saying, once they're down to zero, that's it, but it looks like they're getting out of the, because gold swaps are unallocated, which means, you don't have title to a bar, so. So Aaron Sterling does the opposite. He stacks food for, yeah, the problem, yeah, I mean, you can freeze bread. You know, it's perfectly okay to freeze bread. The thing is, if the electricity grid goes down, you know, the bread is gonna, you know, you can't freeze it anymore. But I think a combination of, you know, you do what you need. And I'm not really a prepper. You know, there are prepper channels out there. I'm trying to focus more on the financial side. And I'm aware though, but I interviewed a few guys who went through hyperinflation, one in Lebanon, and Star Path Academy. I recommend his YouTube channels. He went through very high to hyperinflation in Romania in the 90s. And it's one thing he said is if you can survive currency collapse and still have your gold and silver, you've done well. And he said it's not just about having gold and silver, but also having a community where you have friends and you help each other out, because normal transactions that you're doing when the monetary system is running become totally abnormal. So it's very tough. So I think being in a tight-knit community also helps. Keith, Dom, I'm looking forward to deep sea mining. Yeah, there's a good show on the History Channel. Or is it? Yeah, the deep sea divers up in Nome, Alaska. It's really interesting. It's tough though. Tough deep diving for gold. Spooky Spoon says, I found your stream and I'm so glad I did. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Spooky Spoon. Hank McGurk, if anyone is cold in Montreal, then perhaps I could add the RCMP-CIA to my list of pissed off people. Here in Zurich is about 6 degrees centigrade. It's not that bad. But London, I played golf yesterday morning at 8 o'clock. And around 9, yeah, by 9:30, I took my jumper off or my sweater off. I was playing in a short sleeve shirt. It was like 16, 18 degrees, which is very unusual. Brazil Streets says hello from Brazil. Yeah, nice to see you here. Eu sou brasileiro, Brazil Streets. Falo português também, mas não moro no Brasil há muito tempo. A bit of my Portuguese to Brazil Street. Hank McGurk, with the pound falling against the dollar, is there any way you think we could trade a Caribbean island for an old aircraft carrier? I think the biggest, most valuable asset I think the UK has is Gibraltar. Yeah, I think the Americans would pay a lot for Gibraltar. And why is that? Well, because it controls the entrance to the Mediterranean from the Atlantic. So, but you know, the pound has rebounded quite a bit in the last week or so. I think we went from 113 at the beginning of the week to we're almost at 118. So as I've said many times, the fiat currencies, you know, they take turns. You know, the dollar is sinking now a little bit more, and the pound is going up, the euro is going up, but ultimately they will all sink versus gold and silver and real assets, because it's much harder to create. You know, you can't conjure up gold and silver or real things out of thin air. All right. Brazil Street says, it's great to find your channel. Oh, I'm glad share it in Brazil. I don't do Portuguese videos because my viewers are outside Brazil, but it's nice to see Brazilians here too. So, yeah, thank you everyone for showing up. And as I said, my videos might not come out at the regular time, but I will do my best to bring a video out tomorrow, Tuesday, and also Wednesday. I'm staying here till Wednesday morning because my flight leaves on Wednesday morning, so I'll be home in the afternoon to see Billy. So take care, everyone.